title in school history. Longtime assistant at Florida State, former National Assistant of the Year, now the head coach at Baylor. And he has done remarkable things, winning 100 matches in a little under 5 complete seasons. So you can do the math there, an average over 20 wins a campaign for a Baylor program that had seen some heights, but never at this level. Ranked number 1 for a better part of the year and didn't drop a set for the longest part of this season, before finally losing in 3 at Texas. And now here they are after that upset, that magical match in front of nearly 7,500 people at the Farrell Center on Wednesday night, on the doorstep of a Big 12 championship. Next stop is here in Manhattan, trying to avoid an upset by the Wildcats. Baylor in the dark green road jerseys, K-State in the home whites. A pancake save that is ruled now to be down and not popped up in the air by Locken. So Dixon gets the match's first kill, and we are underway for the Little Apple.
Yeah, nice pass to start that rally off by Hinkle in the back row. Good decisions by Sarah Dixon so far.
Dixon gets the start of that 2-setter rotation. K-State has flip-flopped back between a 6-2 and a 5-1 at times. Presley rattles it through the block and immediately turns to her setter to say, hey, that needs to be a little higher.
Yeah, Presley's a high flyer on the outside. You'll see her attacking from the back row, from the front row, and she almost looks like she's taking flight.
31 kills, 24 digs in the match against Texas. Another attempt by Dixon, drops in.
Yeah, not much Dixon could do there. That pass was pretty tight, but smart decision. Baylor block was not ready for that.
Sarah Dixon is not an offensive setter at all. Only 46 kills in 104 sets. That's less than a half a kill per set, and already 2 in this first set. Stafford at the middle off the top of the block. Actually, that was McGee that was able to get that. McGee, the freshman, at 6'4" out of San Antonio.
That was a nice touch by K-State's block. Just defense wasn't able to play it up behind them.
Brea Hunt into the back row to serve this up. One of the very few seniors on the team for the Bears. And an ace to the back corner. Well done.
That's a great serve by Hunt. Another senior, one of the few seniors on this Baylor team. That's a smart serve.
3 that play. That's it. And the most important of those upperclassmen, Presley, a junior. So she'll be back next season. A block on Nutiri as she was rotating over to the left. K-State touches on McGee. Megan Vernon in the middle. Presley off the top of the hands, and Presley has another kill.
Now you look at that block that Presley had to go against with Carlson and Vernon, but she just hits high off those hands. Smart play.
Hunt once more to serve. Shallow serve. Nutiri from the right side. And the preseason All Big 12 pick, who had a pretty good match the other night against Oklahoma, has her first tonight.
Yeah, another good sign here for the Wildcats. Getting her involved early is key for the Wildcats.
Nutiri against the Sooners had 10 kills at .533, and K-State really made it a point to push the ball to the right side to Nutiri. Drew Cook rotates in, unfortunately commits the service error. K-State serving both in pass and receive and in serving itself have been an issue all season long. Presley, standing serve. And the overpass is smashed home by Baylor. Well, Presley has a jump serve, but opting for the standing serve here to begin.
Well, you think about the number of attacks and swings and how much jumping she's been doing all season, and with that big game against Texas earlier this week, you wonder if they're saving her legs a bit. 82
swings, by the way, in that match over 5 sets. She is second in the nation in total attacks coming into play today. Milana, and blocked.
That is something Vernon has done so well for the Wildcats this year. Great job by her to stay at the net, and even though that you could tell she was going to just do a nice roll shot, they stayed up there and got the block.
Milana, the other part of that senior front line for Baylor, along with Stafford. Quick set, and Milana with a laser beam.
Yeah, Wolf, such a good libero for Baylor. Steps right in there and takes that pass.
And look how fast the set. It beats the block to the outside.
Fast.
Williams, quick reaction. Presley from the back row.
You don't see many players that can do that. That is just, quite honestly, unbelievable. Fast, high.
Yeah, there's no stopping that. A real joy to watch today, Yassiana Presley. For those that are in attendance, just as it is a joy to watch Peyton Williams, and watching her for the final time. Senior day today for K-State. She's one of the ones that'll be honored after the match. Peyton Williams playing in her final time here in the Hearn Fieldhouse. Near service ace for K-State. Milana pushes it over. Anna Dixon, K-State's prized recruit. Hits another swing. Presley shoots it straight in the air. Dixon blocked, kept alive by K-State. Williams, an aggressive play towards the corner, but too long.
That's a great idea by Peyton Williams. If that would have worked out, would have brought the house down.
Lock into serve, setter to the back row for Baylor. All the way out left for Bonde, but she hits it long. And attack errors were an issue back on Wednesday against Oklahoma for K-State. And a couple here early, only 4 kills, 2 errors for K-State. Sooners came in and really dominated the Wildcats in straight sets on Wednesday night. Sooners really playing great volleyball right now. Vandermark, a newcomer for Baylor. And K-State, or Baylor called for a double hit. Tower official is Tom Joseph. You see that second touch there by Stafford.
She had an open hand.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah,
trying to claim.
I think she's trying to indicate she hit it more with her heel of her hand versus her actual fingers.
Tom Joseph was having none of that. Presley from behind the back row. Williams with a clean net.
That is a big time turn for K-State defensively, stopping Presley. And then Peyton Williams with the finish.
And Williams, who was in the top 8 in the Big 12 in hit percentage, did not have a very good offensive match against Oklahoma on Wednesday for one of the rare times this year.
Yeah, they just couldn't quite get their middles going, really, for K-State.
Side out over to Baylor. Bears siding out very well to begin, up by 4. So near the midway point of this first set. We'll pause for a timeout at 15 points, should no coach call a timeout by then. Carlson blocked, kept alive by K-State. Over to Bonde. Vandermark over the block. And then Bonde able to beat Presley and get the kill.
Yeah, some good signs here for K-State. They're making some plays defensively and then keeping that ball in front of them and making some smart plays at the net.
Peyton Williams to serve, and she shoots it long. 2 errors for the Wildcats. Williams will rotate out. Stafford to serve. Redshirt senior out of Houston. Second team All-American a season ago. Presley up the left side. Right around the block, gets the kill.
Not to mention how easy she made that look, but that was a ball coming from over her shoulder, and she made it look easy.
Stafford commits the error. Well, Presley came into play today, first in the Big 12, second nationally in kills per set and in points per set. She averages 5.63 kills per set. Not to mention a healthy 2.5 digs per set as well. So in a 3-set match, you're talking about a double-double most likely. And she's rolled up a lot of those, 19 of them in her career, 6 this season. And coming off the rare 30-20 double-double against Texas, where you had probably the top 2 outside hitters in the conference going at each other, and Presley and Micaiah White of Texas.
Yeah, that's a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah. This Baylor team had all they could handle. Speaking of Oklahoma, that 5-set match by Texas was just the second 5-set match all season for Baylor. The only other one was in Norman against Oklahoma just at the end of October. And that really sort of signified just how good Oklahoma has become. K-State saw that on Wednesday night. They were on fire, led by Ashlyn Dunbar. This is a good rally going here, but a roof on Anna Dixon by McGee and Locken sends us to a timeout. Baylor by 6 in the first set on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
This is the early bird. The early bird is different than other birds. When his friends head south for the winter, he finds a faster way there.
Hey.
The early bird never just waits for birds to call to him.
Oh, hey. Chirp, chirp. Chirpity, chirp.
And he's always first to buy tickets for the Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle with great odds of winning $1 million. The earlier he buys, the more chances he has to win cash in each early bird drawing. Because you know the saying, the early bird gets the money.
Hey, you gonna do this or what? You gotta do it. And keep doing it. Do it big. Hit it. Step it up. Always take the risk. Don't just watch it. Put your phone down and do it. Drip splash like the ice on the wrist. That's a call I can't miss. Do what they say you can't. Because there are those who don't and those who do. Let's do.
Welcome to the Big 12, a place marked by unmistakable commitment, uncompromising values, and unrivaled spirit. A place where champions are crowned the right way in a conference with no divisions, where everyone plays everyone and every game matters. Welcome to the Big 12, a conference unlike all others, where possibilities are unlimited, competition is unsurpassed, and true potential is unleashed.
Yassiana Presley and the Baylor Bears with a 6-point lead. Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. Presentation of Big 12 Volleyball. Final home match of the year for K-State. Senior day after the match. Number 3 ranked Baylor closing in on perhaps the first ever Big 12 title in school history. Needing wins in their last 3 matches to get it. Battled above the net. Baylor screaming for a front row attack. And now the whistle does finally come. And a point to the Baylor Bears. Ruling was on Dixon a little bit earlier in that rally. Got a little too close to the net.
Jumped with that set attempt and being back row. But the thing is that the ball was on K-State side of the net, so that would really be against Baylor. It should be
a play over the net.
Yes.
If you back that play up when the ball came, I think that's what Sarah Dixon's talking about right now. Hey, listen, I was just trying to set the ball.
Yeah.
Earlier than that. Right here.
She did jump up there.
Yeah, the ball, now on hindsight, that ball was a little bit more over the net than first thought. So
she did try to get it from the other side. And
Sarah Dixon, it's her final match as well. And she is continuing to talk with both officials. Brad Aberg is over as well, floor official.
It'll be interesting to see how they work
Well,
this out.
it was a very late call.
It was.
And Baylor was arguing hard for it. It was almost like, oh, yeah, you're right. We should have called that. So it didn't get called in the moment. So this is almost like a review without a review. It's almost an official's review. They're talking about where this was at.
So it makes you wonder, how will they call this?
Indeed.
I think Sarah's obviously trying to fight for the fact that she was trying to set that ball, and they interfered.
Don't think it's going to work out.
Nope.
Yep. Baylor keeps the point after all of that. Non-reviewable call, by the way. Judgment call. Carlson. Presley, a soft tip, and it works out.
It's a rare off shot by Presley. Usually she's up there hammering away, but smart mix-up by her.
First team All-Big 12 as a freshman. Honorable mention All-American last year, unanimous All-Big 12 pick. And she will get every single honor in the book coming up at the end of this year. If Baylor finishes this out and gets a Big 12 championship, be hard-pressed to think she wouldn't be the Big 12 Player of the Year.
Absolutely, I would agree. And even, a candidate for National Player of the Year for sure.
Yep.
With her numbers, it's hard to deny her that.
400 kills plus, already over 900 attacks, and almost 200 digs to this point. Of course, we've been mentioning it a few times. Today is senior day for the Wildcats. And with more on that, let's welcome the third member of our crew, Adam Cook.
Thanks, Brian. Senior Day for the Wildcats is a special time for every member of the team. Sarah Dixon, Mackenzie Weber, Peyton Williams, and Brooke Haney are all being celebrated, as well as student assistant coaches Mackenzie Holcomb and Avery Noel. I had a chance to speak with assistant head coach Trent Sorensen, who said that the younger members on the team will typically play with a little more emotion on this day because they want to send the seniors off well, and he's hoping they'll carry that throughout the match. Back to you, Brian and Liz.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Adam. Birthday boy Trent Sorensen in the center of your screen there with the beard. Sitting down, seated right now. Susie Fritz talking to the team. Trent Sorensen in his fifth year, I should say, as an assistant coach with K-State, assistant head coach for the Wildcats, and has done a great job of bringing in some top 20 recruiting classes the last 2 years for K-State. He's been the principal recruiter for the Wildcats. Number 20 ranked recruiting class in the country coming into this season. Well, you've been through senior day, both as an underclassman and as an upperclassman. The emotions, I'm sure, different both times, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think every year I was an underclassman, it was hard to see those seniors go. So you have that emotion, and then, senior day, especially if it's your last time playing here in Ahern, it's kind of hard to walk away from that.
Presley over the left side of the block, and a point for the Bears. First I thought a touch was called, but
they did call a touch.
And we'll have a review. K-State claiming that this went out without being touched by K-State. I don't see, certainly wasn't on the block. If there was a touch, it would have been in the back line with Sarah Dixon.
Well, it wasn't even, but it was kind of a lofty roll shot. This should be a quick.
Yeah. Nobody's not even close to the ball there.
It's unfortunate. Coach Friss has to use a.
So Brad Aberg will take a look at this, and we'll get our first review of the ball game. Challenge review system instituted in volleyball a few years ago. 3 challenges per team. The coaches can use at any time. In and out, net touches, violations on the serve, or 3-meter line violations are the ones that are reviewable. And if in the determination of the official who's reviewing the play, as you can see there, the ball not even close to the hands of K-State, that's more of a example of how good Presley is. This, as you said, was a quick review, and it is. And it's reversed, and K-State gets the point. Now, challenges are used, and regardless if it's in your favor or not, you lose the challenge. You can get an additional challenge back if the match goes 5 sets. So K-State now with 2 challenges remaining, as Drew Cook will serve and gets an ace. 17th of the year.
A little redemption from her earlier missed serve.
Had a couple of service errors on Wednesday against Oklahoma. Bounces back today with an ace. Picking on Brea Hunt. Presley blocked by K-State's Buteri and Verlin. She'll get another shot. Hits into the block with the tip. Buteri with a difficult cut shot that works out.
Yeah, great job. Hinkle had to step in there and set that ball. Puts up a beautiful one for Buteri to finish that cross court.
McGee on the slide. Ball put up high for Presley. She couldn't do much with it. Presley was screaming for that for the minute it went off the pass, and she finishes the rally.
Yeah, really, K-State's doing a pretty good job of kind of controlling what they can. They're getting some touches on Presley and McGee on her side. So you're seeing them getting some good touches. If they can continue that, obviously Presley's going to get what she can, her abilities are phenomenal, but if they can continue to do that, that's a good sign. They can kind of stay in this match and try to string some points.
K-State kind of hanging around by 6 or 5 points, depending on the score, as Hinkle will go back to serve, another freshman. 13 underclassmen on the roster for this K-State volleyball team. Presley, triple blocked at the middle. Peyton Williams in the center of it. Pretty good serving by K-State today has made Baylor work. Buteri! And Baylor will use a timeout as the Wildcats have pulled within 4.
Yeah, really, the defensive effort by K-State right now is making all of the difference. They're not giving up on these plays. They're getting Glow involved, which is phenomenal with her left-handed shot. They just haven't been able to stop her yet, so it's a great idea to keep pushing that ball to her, just like Baylor's doing with Presley.
Getting a lot of touch on the blocks right now. As you mentioned before, you're only going to be able to do so much against Presley, who has 6 kills, but hitting an actual humane 286 at the moment. But the Wildcats of Susie Fretz have done a good job of touching and keeping the balls alive and staying in rallies. It should be noted that when these two teams met down in Waco, the third set went 29-27. So perhaps, you could say what you want. Hey, Baylor's up 2-0 at that point in set. Maybe they eased off a little bit. Perhaps. But the Wildcats have shown time and time again earlier this season with this young team that they have been quite mercurial and have played to the level of their competition.
Yeah, and they've been in that set in particular comes to mind. They are in those matches, and they have show those bright spots of being able to play with some of the best in the country. Even Texas, they took extended points earlier in the season. So they have those abilities. It's just little errors that they make at those moments, and I think a lot of that is just their youth. But there are some very nice glimmering shots of K-State and what their potential is.
Susie Fritz with some last instructions for Drew Cook and Lauren Hinkle, 2 of her back row players, as Hinkle goes back to serve again, a freshman from DeSoto High School, which is just south of Kansas City. Just across the tape. Good serving here from Hinkle. Unable to handle, though, the Baylor smoke on the right side.
Yeah, Coach McGuire happy with that. His freshman middle has been doing a phenomenal job for them.
Well, Nicole Thomas was a starter last year in the middle and was replaced this season by the freshman McGee. And she has been fantastic. Second in the Big 12 in blocks. She rotated out after that last swing, and K-State gets back with a block of their own. Another one for Peyton Williams.
Nice job by Peyton. Stay with Stafford, knowing that ball is likely going to go to her or Milana on the outside. Good shift by her.
Service error at a bad time from Tayana Adams-Kaanoi, the other setter for the Wildcats, who checks in. One of the more frustrating parts for Adams-Kaanoi, just maybe a little bit in her head right now. 31 service errors in the 15 matches she's played. Presley at the top of the block. So Presley recognizing K-State getting a touch on the block, aims just a little higher.
Yeah, just hits those almost off the tops of those hands, and it ricochets where no one can run it down.
Near an overpass, brought back by Adams-Kaanoi, and Williams with a finish.
By far her best finish we've seen in the last few games from Peyton Williams. Good connection there with Tayana.
Yeah, Baylor was fooled. Stafford and Milana both went up with Adams-Kaanoi. K-State trying to hang around, but the Bears 3 points away from finishing this off, and another kill for Yassiana Presley. She has 8 in this first set. 16 swings, 8 kills for Yassiana Presley. Into the net on Baylor on Stafford. Point for K-State. They need to run some points in a row, but K-State siding out at just 52% right now. Baylor at 71%. Oklahoma sided out at 70% the other night. Really prevented the Wildcats from getting any points strung together.
Yeah, they just couldn't string them. Defensively, they weren't playing as well as they are this afternoon.
Could that be the difference? Vandermark hit mostly the net, but did get it over. Presley again, number 9 in the first set. And it's set point for the Bears.
Yeah, K-State's block was up in front of Presley. She does a smart thing and just hits high hands. So often you see players still trying to go up there and cut it really sharp, but she does a smart play there.
Presley shoots it a mile high in the air. And Baylor called into the net again. This one will be on Vandermark. Set point number 2 for Baylor. K-State needs 5 more points to tie and send it to extra points. Dixon rotates back in for the Wildcats. Adams-Kaanoi to the bench. And a service near ace for Dixon as it hits the tape and goes over. Wonderful play by Baylor to keep it alive, and then Carlson shoots it long on the attack, and Baylor wins set 1. 25-19, Bears win the first set on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
And, you know, I think they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, Baylor does, and, you know, they're out there, they're going for it, and you know, you just gotta love to see that. Though it's just, they have the talent and the ability, and really it's in their hands, and right now they're taking full advantage of it, and you just have to give them kudos, because that's pretty phenomenal.
Well, K-State will start with the ball to begin here with the second set. Peyton Williams will be the one to put it in play. Vandermark on the right side, able to blast one down on K-State's side. And Vandermark, who's a relative newcomer, comes through with the kill.
Yeah, 6'6", tall, lengthy. She had some very key kills for Baylor against Texas.
Out of the Netherlands, did play in 18 matches a season ago. But Milana was most of the time on the right side, and Vandermark in a backup reserve role. Carlson able to split the block and get the kill.
Yeah, good rally by K-State. Again, that defense making all the difference, making Baylor earn those points.
Bryn Carlson kind of a quiet start to today's game after a recent good turn. Vandermark is blocked, popped up by Baylor, but not enough to keep it alive, and K-State has their first lead.
Yeah, K-State's got some nice blockers up there for them right now with Vernon, Carlson, and Mutiri. Getting inside Baylor's head here a little bit.
And a great pass on the serve receive by Presley, and then on the return, she hits it out.
A net violation by K-State. Oh, that's frustrating for them.
Indeed. You got a rare break with Presley hitting it out. Instead, you give up the point. Vandermark getting a conversation with one of the assistant coaches for Texas, or for Baylor, I should say, after their big win against Texas. Here's Carlson. Presley, Doug. And then Mutiri able to hit off the block and pick up the point.
Yeah, a little tight set in little inside for her, but does a good job of just using that block in front of her.
So Mutiri and the Wildcats by 1. Serving with Drew Cook, who has the only ace so far for K-State. Presley seeing the block. Couldn't get it down behind it. And McGee at the middle ties it up. But a good early start for K-State in the second set. For more on what the Wildcats hope to bounce back with, Adam Cook listened into that last huddle. What did Susie Fritz have to say, Adam?
Guys, Coach Fritz told her team that she thought they were playing very good volleyball overall. She mentioned that she'd like to see a little more on kill production, but overall Fritz thought they were playing with a lot of spontaneity, and she liked that a lot. Back to you, Brian.
It has been, in that regard, a little bit better going for K-State. And now another bad break for the Wildcats.
Yeah,
into net call.
Vernon, a little aggressive. That ball was not over the plane of the net.
Yep. Ball was still on the Baylor side. She reached over. Mutiri able to sneak it into the back row. Good turn by Dixon on a terrible pass, but made it work. And Mutiri with 5 kills, hitting .571.
Yeah, she's playing great right now. See K-State continue to try to get her the ball.
Bears answer right back, siding out at 75% on the day. Break K-State serve, and we'll have Tara Wolf, who led the team in service aces last season, but has only 12 this year. Mutiri on the right, tough swing, and she is blocked by Stafford and Milana.
A little out-of-system play there for K-State. Hinkle tried to get that ball to Mutiri, but she overran that set a bit.
Baylor with a couple in a row here. Coming out of the timeout by the Bears is their 3rd of the afternoon, and a good way to keep the momentum rolling after a timeout.
Now you look at that back row for K-State, all freshmen, true freshmen.
Cook in the center, Hinkle right, Anna Dixon left. Mutiri, a sophomore, unable to finish from the right. And then Milano wide of the mark. Well, Baylor gifts K-State a point, ends the 4-0 run. Mentioned it before, 13 underclassmen for K-State, and when you look at the Wildcats' record, certainly not where historically they have been as a program. Usually a fixture of the top 5 and in the NCAA tournament, but it has been a pretty large undertaking as far as reshaping and retooling the whole roster. Ace for Adams Kaanohi. One of those freshmen able to sneak it in front of the line judge, in front of the Baylor bench.
Yeah, and Coach McGuire, the team was trying to say it was out, and he said, nope, that was inbounds.
Another near ace. A little bit of confusion from Milana how to handle it, then she hits it out of bounds. So 3 straight by K-State. Makes it a 1-point set, and now timeout by Baylor.
Well, maybe now we're starting to see some of those minor mental errors, Baylor, after that big win on Wednesday night.
Ryan McGuire wanting to get that turned very quickly. Chasing the Big 12 championship, you cannot afford to let down against anybody. Certainly don't want to have it wrestle away from you here at the end, but it's in your grasp. All you have to do is win out.
Yeah,
and take care of business.
It's definitely something that, you know, with Texas being such a stronghold over the Big 12 over the last several years, they want to try to take advantage here, Baylor.
So here is the remaining schedule for the 2 that are going for the Big 12 title. Texas and Baylor both tied in first place with only 1 loss. And here's what's left for these 2 teams after today, although Texas and Kansas play later tonight. Texas has Wednesday off next week. Baylor will have a road trip to Morgantown. And West Virginia, listen, it's not an easy place to play. It has been a stumbling block, notably for Texas in years past. And TCU is always a good rivalry, but of the 2, who's a tougher schedule here?
I feel probably like Texas playing at Iowa State is kind of, that stands out to me as, you know, there's some potential for Iowa State to play a little spoilers right there.
Iowa State currently tied for 3rd in the Big 12 with Oklahoma. So both are probably in the NCAA tournament, but the Cyclones, certainly a team on senior day, could find a way to pull off the upset against Texas. Boy, wouldn't that be something, and hand Baylor an outright Big 12 championship. Out of the timeout, Baylor able to win a rally. Get a side out over to their side. Brea Hunt out for the Bears. Lock into the back row to serve. The setter for the Bears out of Des Moines, Iowa, as a matter of fact. Quick set for Williams. Looked like some feet got tangled up there in the middle for the Bears. And it works out. Vandermark went down, got her feet tied up with Lockett, perhaps. Anna Dixon to serve for K-State. Freshman out of Lewisburg, Kansas. Milana on the right side where she lived for most of last season.
Yeah, she's been pretty unstoppable on the right side when she's been rotated over there in their serve-receive. The senior.
Don't see many volleyball players rolling around with 77 on the jersey.
No, it's an unusual number.
Former high school All-American, top 15 recruit. Williams beats the block.
It's a good choice by Adams Kaanohi. Did I get that right?
You did.
All right.
It is a mouthful.
It is. Nice choice by her.
Freshman from Honolulu is the setter of the future for K-State. Locken brings it back for Presley. Saved by Adams Kaanohi. Carlson forced to tip it over. Back to Presley. He's been quite quiet here in this second set after a 9-kill first set performance. 3 swings in a row for Presley. Will she get a 4th? No. Stafford with an exclamation mark to end the rally.
You almost thought they might push it out to Presley, but good decision by Locken to get Stafford the ball. The senior, she's been quite a leader for this Baylor team.
Bonday. Another good decision by K-State with the set, as there was only 1 blocker there. And that might have been, in that last sequence, one of the best setting sequences we've seen from Adams Katanoe this season.
Yeah, good decisions. Played some good defense too. Made a nice dig on Presley.
What would we just heard Adam talk about in the last set about senior day? Usually it's the underclassmen that step up and play better. Perhaps we're seeing that a bit from K-State today, trying to rise to the challenge against the third-ranked team in the land, the Baylor Bears. And now Vandermark is going to come out, and Bree Coleman, a sophomore outside hitter who could also play on the right side, is going to check in. One semester at College of the Canyons, did not play volleyball, and now at Baylor. And a near ace. What a play by Mutiri, just running around, able to get a hand up and keep it in. But then Presley on the left side gets number 11.
Yeah, good heads up by Mutiri, but unfortunately Presley's front row. And
When Carlson answers back. Just the second today for Carlson in the kill department with 2 errors. And we might have a review as to whether or not that was actually a K-State point or not. So we'll get a look at this one. Challenge review by Ryan McGuire and the Baylor Bears. Ooh, that did look out.
yes, it did.
Yep, pretty good shot right there.
Yep.
Ball on the ground, did not hit that white line. Brad Aberg will probably
Overturn this.
Yep, I think so. Unless there was a touch at the net from Carlson. You're not going to be able to see it from that angle, but that first angle, boy, had it great. Great shot.
Yeah, the opportunity too for Coach McGuire to speak with his team. They're a little out of sorts. This set not quite as pristine and clean as they were in that first set.
Well, assuming this goes to Baylor, the score would be 14-10 in favor of the Bears. Another good shot of it right there. And the ball was out and did not touch the. If it touches any part of the white, it's in. So the line is in. It's not considered out. Brad Aberg is done with his review. Pass it on to the public address, and then now our ruling. And it is out. Point for the Bears, that's the right call. So 2 challenges today, both have been the right calls. Each team is without a challenge. And down to 2, the remainder of the match. Baylor by 4 in this second set. We'll take one off the board from Carlson, still only with 1 kill. She'll hit here on the right. Bears scrambling, and they won't get it over. By the way, Presley with 11 kills has now reached double-figure kills in 32 straight matches dating back to last season and 61 of the last 62.
Wow.
Dating back 3 years.
Wow.
As automatic as it comes. No off nights for Presley. And Locken, just when you get lulled to sleep with Stafford and Milana and Presley, Locken drops one in, the 6-1 setter.
That's smart play by her. K-State was focused on, obviously, Presley in the front row.
It's Presley now to serve. Mutiri. Milana roofed! Vernon and Mutiri.
You heard the coaches yelling at them, delay, delay. Have a tendency to get a little early, and then you're coming down as they're actually hitting the ball. So good play by Vernon and Mutiri.
Vernon, a great leaper, provides a great big block. Double hitters run left side by Baylor, and it works out for the Bears eventually. So McGee will rotate out after the kill. McGee has 8 kills on 11 swings, no errors. That's a .727 hit percentage.
Wow.
And now Milana is going to get rotated out, and freshman KJ Johnson out of Pearland, Texas is going to come in. Dixon does well off the net when Muteri hits it out. So Baylor taking an opportunity here in this second set to get some younger players in. As you said, rest the legs. Busy 2 weeks ahead. Johnson has played in only 7 matches this year. Former high school All-American and Fab 50 recruit, and an ace for the Bears. Here comes Jackie Smith in for Drew Cook in the back row. Mentioned Wolf's serving abilities. Really hasn't racked up the aces this year, but led them in aces last season. Muteri unable to get it down. Johnson on the left. Dug but over, and there's Johnson to knock it down. K-State scrambling. Hinkle gets it across. Stafford able to knock it over the net. Past the block. And a timeout for K-State. Great rally going here. Unfortunately for the Wildcats has been the case tonight. Baylor has the answer at the end.
Yeah, you know, unfortunate for K-State. You see that they're just flying around, and really, I feel like they're playing pretty good defense. But this is such an offensive team, and they do also have such. They're just a good all-around team. Great defensively, great offensively. They haven't really had a ton of blocks on K-State, but they, in the back row, do a great job of getting a ball up there so that Lock-in can set those very offensive hitters that they have at the net. And so that's just a big difference when you have that kind of offensive power and you are able to dig a ball and turn. You know, K-State's making some digs, but they don't have quite the firepower at the net that Baylor does, and that's kind of where we see the big difference. Baylor ranks in the top 30 nationally in the categories you would think they would. Kills, assists, hit percentage, but also in blocks and in opponent hit percentage, which speaks to exactly what you're talking about, which is a combination of blocks, digs, passing. They're able to turn it and keep it alive long enough for that great offense to beat you. I mean, they're holding teams to 159 hitting both in league and overall in the season, and they played an incredibly difficult non-conference schedule. Absolutely, and that's why they're at the level they are too, because of their non-conference. You know, they've really put themselves in a position to be a title contender. UCLA, Creighton, Syracuse, Wisconsin, Marquette, Houston, Tennessee, Missouri, Hawaii. That is the non-conference schedule for Baylor before they had Texas State, who would be one of those that you would kind of think a team would normally play. One of those just gimme wins. Yeah. No offense to Texas State, but all of those other ones I just listed off, those are who's who of conference. Yeah. High RPI. Big time. That's why Baylor's at the top in their RPI as well. #1 in the country. And that's the type of background you want to build going into NCAA tournament, because it makes a huge difference in seeding. Well, the Bears will likely be the overall #1 seed, assuming they can finish out this season without any hiccups. I'd be surprised if they were not. Adams Katanoe is in to serve for K-State. Down 5 points in a service error for K-State. Comes at a bad time. 6-point lead for the Bears. Dixon on the right side hit the antenna. One of the things that
King State has been unable to do that Baylor has been so good at, and continuing this thought about how they turn it so fast. It's not just Presley's abilities, although that's a big part of it. Service ace here by the Bears, their third of the set. It's her demeanor and her attitude seems to be, hey, we're okay no matter what. The Wildcats don't, as such a young team, have times when they, like this, it gets off track. They can't get it back on. They can't get it going again.
Yeah, and that's such a huge part of that is just their youth. You know, and they just haven't been able to string that success together enough to have that one person that step into that role and really be that firepower for them. And it's, you know, it's unfortunate, you know, they haven't been able to find it this year, but hopefully that one of these young players will be able to step into that role in the future.
King State lost a couple of starters right before the season started, and that was a big part of the issue with Ellie Sanbolthi transferring out to Ohio State, and then Brooke Haney, who had been one of their star outside hitters, lost the season with a medical issue and then had to retire, in fact, from playing volleyball. She'll be honored today on Senior Day.
Yeah, and you talk about those two players and what they would have provided for the Wildcats this year. I mean, it likely would have made a pretty big difference.
Challenge here by Baylor on this call, which was a touch by Johnson and Stafford on the swing against Bryn Carlson. So we'll see if we can get a look at this. There we are.
Hey.
Brad Aberg taking a look to see if there was indeed a touch. The call on the court was a touch and a kill for Carlson. Carlson's already had one taken away from her. Let's see if there can be another for the Bears, who are up significantly in this second set, trying to go up 2-0. Interestingly enough, the Baylor Bears have never lost a match under Ryan McGuire when they've been up 2-0.
That is interesting. Good research, Brian.
Thank you. It was in the notes. It's not terribly, I mean, it's reading. It wasn't really. King State, Baylor also has been, we talked about the chances of them possibly having a hiccup here on the road. Baylor has been one of the best road teams in the Big 12 in the last few seasons, really since they've hit their apex under Ryan McGuire the last couple of years. The Bears, since 2017, have gone 18-4 in Big 12 road matches. Their only losses at Texas, at KU. So they haven't really stubbed their toe on the road. That call, by the way, did go the way of the Bears. So another challenge used by Ryan McGuire. He has one challenge remaining. The Bears 2 points away from a 2-0 lead. Williams using the left hand, and it got the touch off of Vandermark to be able to get the kill. Peyton Williams showing her athleticism yet again.
Yeah, having a nice afternoon here for the Wildcats.
Figured she might, even against an opponent like Baylor in her final time. Peyton has somewhat the flair for the dramatic and is such a gifted athlete, much better than she's given credit for at times in the eye test. She doesn't just shout out at you, oh, this great, unbelievable athlete, but she's so graceful, so smooth, so unbelievably smart. Vernon and Bonde with a block. Wildcats stringing together a couple of points late in the second.
Set not quite what Presley needed, but good job by K-State. Get that block up there.
Stafford in the middle. And it's set point for the Bears. Carlson after the serve receive, blocked down, and the Bears win the second set. 25-19, 25-17 on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. The Bears up 2-0. Well, Liz Wagner-Bush, Adam Cook, all with you back here at Ahern Fieldhouse. The Baylor Bears so far looking to wrap this thing up in straight sets. Sweep K-State. Look back at the highlights early on. Yassiana Presley, no surprise, leading the way.
Yeah, Yasi was almost unstoppable for Baylor with the 9 kills that she had. You know, K-State had some highlights, some moments in there. You saw that they were kind of playing some good defense, but Presley finished it for them. And then second set, you know, a little bit more balanced offense for Baylor. They were able to get those middles involved. You know, K-State's, like I've mentioned earlier, they're playing some nice defense, but Baylor just too dominating defensively, offensively for the Wildcats.
Presley with 11 kills got out to such a fantastic start with 9 in the first set, only 2 in that second, so we'll see where she ends up. Brandschreiber to serve for the Bears. Way off the net for Carlson. Muteri able to find a soft spot behind the block.
Yeah, set wasn't quite what she needed, but smart play by her just to slip that over the block. And Vandermark, so tall, didn't quite get over there to make that play.
Not a great serve receive. It gets out to Presley, however, and she just misfires. Hitting it a little long. Presley's season hit percentage is .285, so she has been pretty error-free most of the time, but did commit 17 attack errors in the match against Texas the other night. Of course, 31 kills, more than makes up for that. Left hand, Stafford flips it through the block.
A veteran play by Locken and Stafford. One-handed set. And then the Stafford to stay with that play and make it and finish it.
Ryan McGuire up. You can tell he does not want the energy for his team to drop at all. Really getting after Locken and Wolf. Take command of this thing. Get Baylor back on track.
Yeah, they just haven't quite passed as well to get into their offensive rhythm.
That first set came so easy, especially with Presley. It's almost like a football team maybe perhaps scoring on their first possession or scoring on a big play to begin the game. You begin to think that, oh, this may be just a walk in the park. Wildcats showed a little fight, self-destructed a bit in the second. And a good start here in the third set to begin. Of course, consistency, the name of the game. The Wildcats have been almost immune to consistency this year. Presley blocked. Muteri and Vernon.
I'd like to see that energy for K-State. That is one way to produce a little momentum, a little fire for your team.
Muteri was a preseason unanimous All Big 12 selection. And she gets Presley again. Back-to-back roofs by Muteri against Presley. And Baylor wants a timeout. So we go to a break. Muteri and the Wildcats celebrating a 5-2 lead on the third.
Past and true potential is unleashed.
A 5-2 advantage for the Wildcats early in this third set as they try to rally with Baylor up 2-0. Bears go to the middle and find a turn and success for McGee. And McGee has had a tremendous afternoon. 9 kills, hitting .750 for the freshman.
Yeah, you know, Locken was back row on that play, but her height and her ability, just experience, kept that ball in play, set up perfect for McGee. A lot of that credit goes to Locken on that.
A couple of reserve players in for Baylor still. Coleman and Johnson, we saw commit as outside hitters that last set. They stay in the match here into the third, along with Chanel Brandschreiber, a sophomore defensive specialist. Just like that, Baylor within a point. K-State scrambling. Dixon hits it high to get everybody set. And there's Locken, a wonderful over-the-head dump in on K-State side.
Yeah, a little misconception there. K-State watching, getting ready to block, and just a little flip over her head. Real
talent when you can get it a setter that cannot telegraph when she's going to do that. That was well done by Lockett. Block on Presley. Not a great set. Baylor goes back to the middle. But one of the rare times McGee has not been in lock with Lockett. That is, in fact, the first attack error by Kara McGee. 10 kills, 1 error, hitting .643.
For a freshman, that's not too shabby.
No. Number 6 overall national recruit coming out of high school in Clark High School in San Antonio. First team All-American. Hit .464 for her career. You can see why they were excited to add her into the mix with Stafford, Presley, and company up on the front line. Here is McGee coming on a slide. Bounces right back. And Kara McGee is taking care of business against the Wildcats. McGee, who came in having not a double-figure kill match in her last 5, now has 11 kills, tied for a team high. A near ace, and it works out for Baylor. A 5-1 run by the Bears. Then the Wildcats put out of sync by the serve. And Lockett trying to throw it down, could not. It may have been headed out, but Presley played it. Johnson through the block, way off the net. KJ Johnson gets the kill.
Yeah, again, a set that's coming over your shoulder. It's so hard to hit. So for the freshman to put that ball away like that, that's phenomenal. A good sign for Baylor.
Miss hit by McGee. K-State, I think, or Baylor claims there was a tip on the swing by McGee. This will be the 3rd challenge used by the Bears, so this would be their last. And did Vernon touch that is the question.
And a little bit of that too is with the timing. That was it after the ball was, the play was complete.
And one of the other things that's been done with this review system this year has been that as we had in this play, this was a long rally. So as Brad Aberg looks back at this, if he sees anything else during the play that could have been overturned, he can go back and rule that it was overturned. Another quick review for Brad Aberg. And no touch. Body language of both players did not seem to indicate that there was. Baylor out of challenges unless this somehow went to the 5th set. Wildcats have 2 challenges remaining. K-State led 5-2 at one point. And a service error right out of the timeout by Hinkle. 2 aces, 5 errors for K-State with service. The Bears have 6 aces and just 1 error. Miscommunication in the back row. Johnson long. KJ Johnson at just 5'9" on the outside.
She can jump.
Seems as if the game has changed in volleyball. It's Locken able to drop one in again. Game has become much quicker with high-flying, smaller outside hitters as opposed to the big, powerful outside hitters that we saw 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely a different thought, a different way to play, and it has made the game so much faster.
These high sets, as we see one here to Johnson, blocking error on K-State anyway, that used to be the norm. I mean, volleyball was played with these high arcing big sets out to the left side. You had a lot of international flavor over in volleyball. K-State certainly benefited from that. And that's how they played the game. And even for them at those high sets, I can remember, and you played with some international kids here at K-State who all talked about how even the high arcing ball to the outside, it was still too fast for them. They weren't used to that. And you'd imagine to be completely a mind-blowing situation now. As fast as the game has become.
It's so different.
Freshly from the back row, Adams Katanoe dug it. Bonde then able to get off the block and get the kill. And K-State back within a point here in the third set.
Yeah, Bonde, we haven't heard much from her since that first set. She had a few kills.
Baylor hitting just 150 in this third set. Team that hits 288 on the year. Vandermark trying to fire up the troops. You know, Baylor got out to such a fantastic start at the beginning. It was almost like, ho hum, here we go again. But since then, now admittedly, they have rotated in some other players. Bears have not quite been as sharp as we saw at the beginning. Wildcats have played emotionally invested in this one on senior day. Adams Katanoe does well to run that one down. Carlson punches it over. Vandermark gets a big run and another kill back-to-back for the southpaw.
Yeah, she hits from such a high angle, and with her arm swing, her velocity, she can put some heat behind that ball. Some pretty impressive attacks by her on the left and right.
Came from the Netherlands, but didn't play volleyball in the Netherlands. Played volleyball once she got stateside, went to a high school up in Connecticut for 2 years and earned All-American status in her second year. Did Vandermark, and then landed at Baylor. A redshirt season, played as reserve last year, and now starting in her third season as a redshirt sophomore and playing very well. Hitting .304 from the right, almost a kill and a half per set. Gets it again here. Riding the hot hand. Locken couldn't get a third in a row for her. Quick set for Carlson, and Baylor all over that. Vandermark leads the way with a block.
The advantage of having the long arms, nice ability to extend up there.
Yeah, looked like she got it on the way down.
She did.
Just hanging those arms out.
Stuck up there. And
Wildcats a bad service receive, got that in a bad spot. Vernon couldn't hit the over dig, but then Locken gets pinned behind McGee and couldn't get around her. Honestly, you don't wonder why that doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
All the people running around on the court.
It's pretty amazing.
Locken just unfortunate, could not get around her own middle blocker. Back to Vandermark. It was Presley in set one, Stafford, McGee in set two, and now Vandermark in set three for the Bears.
Yeah, she plays with an intensity that you love to see out there. Although just a redshirt sophomore, she really provides a lot of spark for this Baylor team.
Vandermark had 1 kill, 3 errors, and 11 attacks in the first 2 sets. In this set alone, 4 kills, 6 swings. Timeout K-State with the Bears up 4 in 2 sets to none. We take a look at the Big 12 standings and why it has been such a conversation throughout the afternoon about Baylor's Big 12 title hopes. Well, the win on Wednesday against the Longhorns was big. It's now Texas and Baylor with only 1 loss as they hit the stretch run. Texas 2 matches left. Baylor with 3, counting this one against K-State. Texas plays later tonight at home against the Jayhawks. And then they hit the road to Iowa State, who you see there is in number 4 in the standings. Baylor has this match tonight, and then they go to West Virginia and then host TCU to wrap up the regular season. The favorable schedule to the Bears, can they pull it off is the question. And would Iowa State be able to help out and keep Texas from winning yet another share of a conference title? It seems like Jared Elliott and Longhorns have been as dominant as Baylor has been on the women's side in basketball in winning the league and championships.
Yeah, I mean, it would be something for, Baylor to win it outright. A good change for the conference. I think it's good to kind of get some mix-up in there, and, certainly a deserved honor for this team who's played so well.
The other team to talk about in this standing picture is Texas Tech, because at 6-8, the Red Raiders have something left to play for if they can win their final 2 matches this coming week, and that includes a Saturday date with K-State. They could finish at 8-8 in the Big 12, 18-12 overall. That should be good enough to get them an at-large berth.
Yeah, they're definitely playing for something here at the end of the season. K-State's going to have a tough one going to Lubbock and playing. It's a tough place to play anyways, but certainly K-State going to look to be the spoilers.
And Texas Tech has played pretty well this year. Good job by that staff of getting that program turned around in a short amount of time. Service error by Baylor out of the timeout by K-State. Seen some recent quick turnarounds. Ryan McGuire, of course, set the standard at Baylor on what he did with this program, but Oklahoma has, under Lindsey Gray-Walton, turned things around quite quickly. And you saw the Sooners in Manhattan on Wednesday night. Lindsey Gray-Walton's team is on the doorstep of 20 wins.
Wow, that was a phenomenal kill by Presley. A set was inside a designed play, but her ability, did you see that wrist away action? That hurts just watching that.
Presley quiet since the first set, now 12 kills to lead all scorers. Anna Dixon's had a rough go of it here tonight. 4th kill for Dixon. Just to finish the thought, kudos to Tony Greystone at Texas Tech and their staff and what they've done in a short amount of time, turning that program around.
Yeah, they'll be sad to see Emily Hill, their senior, leave with the progress that they've made.
Pretty young team overall outside of Hill. She is the key for them on the outside, no doubt. Baylor by 4. Down to her knees was Dixon to set that ball. Locken tried another dump. K-State read it and ends up getting the point.
K-State's still right in this set. They can continue to put some pressure on Baylor on their serve.
Just aesthetically, it feels like K-State's playing better than they did on Wednesday against Oklahoma.
Yeah, definitely feeling more energy from the team.
Wildcats hitting 300 in this set. And now another costly service error and a very bad time. 6 errors by K-State. That's the second by Adams, or make it the third, I should say, by Adams Ka'anoi. Bonde blocked to the ground, and Vandermark, who has owned this 3rd set for the Bears, gets another one.
Yeah, Bonde has a huge block in front of her. She's going to have to try to hit those high hands. You can't hit it sharp, try to hit it underneath them. You got to hit high and use that block in front of you.
Now as the Bears prepare for the next step with West Virginia upcoming, it's still time to go back and look at what they did against Texas. And Shelley Stafford and what they did and the win over the Longhorns. A pretty big win for the Baylor Bears and put them in a great position to possibly win the Big 12 title. Let's go to Adam Cook with more.
Thanks, Brian. The Baylor Bears completed a special victory last Wednesday when the volleyball team defeated the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns in Waco. Baylor's redshirt senior Shelley Stafford said before the game that the loss to Texas earlier this season did nothing but drive them to be a faster and overall better team for the next matchup, which they exhibited on Wednesday. Stafford also mentioned that a win against Texas would be historic for the Bears since the last time Baylor defeated Texas in volleyball was way back in 2001. That is, until Wednesday's match changed that. Back to you, Brian and Liz.
All right, thank you, Adam. And boy, you got to watch a large part of that once we got home. But And we watched a little bit here before we left. What an unbelievable atmosphere it was at the Farrell Center, and a great win for Texas.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal game. I mean, both teams play at such a high level, and you could tell Baylor was out to get it. Presley, just the look in her eyes, she was demanding that ball, and she took such a heavy load too. You talk about the number of swings, and she did have a lot of errors, but she took a big load of that and really helped carry the team. And Stafford was pretty unbelievable, and Vandermark really had some unbelievable kills late in the match, which made a big difference.
What a great environment for volleyball. Let's see if Baylor can keep it going into the postseason. That's the next step, of course, the Big 12. Texas has really been the bell cow, pardon the pun, for the Longhorns. They have been the one that has carried the flag, so to speak, for the Big 12 in national championship game appearances and in Final Fours. Can Baylor join that group? KU had that one with a great group of kids that they had a few years ago, made one run, made a Final Four appearance, but haven't been able to keep that consistently going. Will the Baylor Bears be the next one for the Big 12 to be that postseason fixture? And all you hope for now is somehow, some way, Texas and Baylor end up on opposite sides.
That's right. You want to see good representation of the Big 12 in the Final Four. That would be pretty unbelievable.
As fun as a Texas-Baylor third meeting would be, you hope it comes to the national championship, not at any time before then. Williams able to find an open spot. Peyton Williams, in what may be one of her final swings as a Wildcat, has 8 kills to lead K-State. Great save in the back line by Laughlin, just sliding in with a palm save. KJ Johnson, the heir apparent on the outside to Presley.
Yeah, you credit Laughlin again. She jumps at that ball, really got K-State's block to really shift and left Johnson almost or really nobody up on that swing.
Now Johnson on a jump serve, hits it long. It's a word of encouragement from Ryan McGuire as she checks out. Williams to serve. Vandermark. 5 kills in the set for Vandermark. On nearly perfect hitting. Add in a couple of blocks as well. And it's match point for Baylor. Mutieri, or make it Vernon at the middle. Second kill for Vernon, who has 6 blocks here today. Vernon averages a block a set. Second match point for the Bears. And it's Presley. Who else? She started the night, she finishes the night. Yassiana Presley and the Baylor Bears, straight set winners over the Wildcats. Baylor one step closer to their first ever Big 12